This is Kansai International Airport, a floating airport built on the sea. Once hailed as a masterpiece of engineering, today it's slowly sinking. You know those projects that seem almost too bold to be real? The ones where you look at the plans and think, surely someone, somewhere is going to say, this is a bad idea. Well, in the late 20th century, Japan didn't just ignore that little voice. They built one of the most ambitious construction projects in human history, and for a while, it worked. This is the story of Kansai International Airport, a marvel of engineering that became an ongoing battle against nature itself. By the 1970s, Osaka's Itami Airport had a problem. Actually, several problems. It was surrounded by dense neighborhoods. Noise complaints were constant. Runways couldn't be extended. Expanding was politically impossible. Japan's economy was booming. Exports flying out of factories, tourists pouring in. Osaka needed a major international hub to match its ambitions. So engineers proposed something radical. If you can't build on land, build on water. The site was several kilometers offshore in Osaka Bay. The benefits looked obvious. No noise complaints, room to expand, 24-hour operations. But there was one massive catch. The seabed wasn't solid rock. It was deep, waterlogged clay. Clay that compresses under weight, and they wanted to put an entire airport on top of it. What could possibly go wrong? As it turns out, almost everything. The plan: build an artificial island, 2.5 miles long and over a mile wide. To do it, they dumped 21 million cubic meters of rock and sand into the bay, enough to fill 8,000 Olympic swimming pools. But first, they had to deal with the clay. Over 2 million vertical sand drains were installed, giant straws to let water escape so the clay would compact before heavy fill was added. Engineers predicted the island would sink 8 meters over 50 years. Manageable, they thought. Construction began in 1987. Rock shipped from nearby mountains, seawalls raised, layers of gravel stacked high. Thousands of workers, billions of dollars, and the kind of optimism only a booming economy can buy. By 1990, the first phase was done. But then the measurements came in. The island had already sunk nearly 8 meters before the airport even opened. And that was only the beginning. Kansai International opened on September 4th, 1994. The terminal, designed by Renzo Piano, was sleek and futuristic. The runway stretched into the sea long enough for the largest jets. But underground, the clay kept compressing. By the time passengers walked its gates, the island had sunk a total of 11.5 meters, nearly the height of a 4-story building. Engineers scrambled. The terminal was built on 900 adjustable columns, each one capable of being jacked up. Every few years, teams lift sections of the terminal a few centimeters and insert steel shims to keep it level. Runways are resurfaced regularly to smooth out dips. Seawalls have been raised multiple times, each upgrade costing millions. But there's a bigger problem. The ocean itself is rising. Kansai isn't just sinking, it's sinking into a sea that keeps getting higher. And when nature pushed back, it pushed hard. September 4th, 2018, exactly 24 years after opening. Typhoon Jebi, the strongest storm to hit Japan in 25 years, slams into Kansai. Waves surge over seawalls. Runways vanish underwater. Electrical systems short out instantly. Thousands of passengers are stranded. Then, disaster compounds. A tanker, blown off course, slams into the only bridge connecting Kansai to the mainland. Evacuation grinds to a halt. It was a brutal reminder. Even with billions in engineering, Kansai was still at the mercy of the sea. Since 1994, Kansai has sunk over 13 meters in total. The rate has slowed from half a meter a year in the beginning to about 6 centimeters now. But it hasn't stopped. By 2060, parts of the island could be at sea level without constant upgrades. Maintenance isn't optional. It's survival. Why not abandon it? Simple. Kansai is essential. Japan's third busiest airport, over 30 million passengers a year, and a critical cargo hub. With more than $20 billion invested, walking away isn't an option. Instead, Japan has turned Kansai into a living laboratory, testing how to fight subsidence, rising seas, and extreme weather. Kansai isn't alone. Jakarta, Bangkok, even parts of New York face similar challenges. As seas rise, the same questions echo everywhere. How do we keep this standing? How much will it cost? And when does adaptation become a losing battle? For now, Kansai survives. But its story is a reminder. Engineering isn't just about building, it's about maintaining, adapting, and knowing when nature has the upper hand. Kansai International began as a bold statement that human ingenuity could conquer the sea. Decades later, it's still there, still operating, still well welcoming travelers, but the fight is constant. The ocean doesn't care about timetables or passenger numbers. And in the end, Kansai may be remembered as much for its struggle as for its success. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's most fascinating and fragile engineering feats, hit like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, do you think projects like Kansai prove we can out-engineer nature, or are we just buying time?